Hello and welcome to the first video of the Chakra Healing System training series. I'm glad you made it. Today we're going to start at the beginning quite literally and talk about the biology of the chakras. As Albert Einstein once said, science without religion is lame and religion without science is blind. I've encountered a lot of skeptics in my life and a lot of people think that chakras are fake science. And while I don't agree with those people, I understand why they might feel that way. The world is full of people waiting to take advantage of us, so we have to be careful. And when you talk about the chakras, you can get into some pretty complex science. So complex in fact that it can go all the way down into quantum physics and string theory and beyond. It can be difficult to understand, and to be honest, some people would rather believe in the mysticism anyway. The funny thing is, it still gets you the same results whether or not you think it's magic or science. But I have to live up to the name I was given and tell the truth. So this video is all about the science behind the mysticism, complete with links to actual scientific studies and resources so that you can do additional research if you want and make your own informed decisions. I've tried to keep the videos as short as I can without taking away from the content. The only thing I ask in return is that you shut off Facebook and YouTube and put away your phone and close out your email. Get rid of anything that might distract you during these videos while you watch them. Slow down for a minute, take a breath, pay attention. If you feel like taking notes or watching these videos multiple times, even better. Sound good? Good. Go ahead and pause the video here and do what you need to do to get ready. Are you ready? Great, let's get started. First, let's do a simple thought experiment. Imagine for a second that you're a doctor. You live in India in 1000 BCE. That's before Common Era, which means about 3000 years ago. 3000 years ago is a long time. If you're a doctor in that time period, you have to think, this is before all of the modern advances of medicine existed. Most of human history hasn't been recorded at all, and when it has, it's been mostly done with pictures and not words, but phonetic writing is starting to emerge. And as a doctor, it's your job to discover the secrets of the human body and to record your findings for later generations to study. At some point you happen upon a dead body. Unfortunately, at this time, this is pretty common in your line of work. People didn't live that long back then. But you have a bright idea. I'll dissect it, you think. Maybe if I open it up, I learn something, and this guy's or girl's death won't go to waste. So you dissect the body. You try to figure out how all the parts are connected, and which thing does what, so you can help the people who are still alive stay that way. And you find this strange wire that seems to connect all these different bodily organs. It connects to the heart, it connects to the lungs, it connects to the stomach and the spleen. It connects to every single one of the bodily organs, except for the adrenal glands and even some skeletal muscles, like the muscles of the larynx in our throat, which allow us to speak. Well, you're excited. You're exploring bold new territory. Whatever you write down will affect countless new generations. You have no past experience to draw on, so you don't know about nerve endings or any of the things that everyday normal folks like you and I take for granted because we have a WebMD. Now imagine, what would you think? What would you hypothesize? What is this strange wire? There is no right or wrong answer here. It's just a thought experiment. But what this doctor was probably thinking is something like this. This is the system in our body that connects all of our prana and supplies it to the rest of the body. This is the system of the chakras, and each vital organ is a point where prana collects. For reference, prana is the Indian equivalent of the Chinese qi or ki. It is the life force or life energy or energy force of all things. It is quite literally what George Lucas was trying to describe when he wrote about the Force in Star Wars, vital energy. And we know that the doctor was thinking something like this because the concept of prana, as well as the concept of the chakras themselves, first appear in the Upanishads, which date somewhere back to 1200 to 500 BCE. The Upanishads are a collection of Sanskrit texts which contains some of the central philosophical concepts of Hinduism and are considered to contain utterances concerning the nature of ultimate reality and the path to human salvation. We know now that the wire that the doctor found is actually called the vagus nerve, the largest and arguably most important nerve structure in the human body's parasympathetic nervous system. It's also known as the wandering nerve because it wanders all throughout the body, and in the yogic tradition it is referred to as the ancient Kundalini snake. It's a nerve most people aren't even aware exists, even in the information age, but its importance in our daily lives cannot be overstated. And it is my belief that the vagus nerve is the physical proof that chakras actually exist. Here's why. What do nerves carry? Electrical impulses, of course. And we know from amazing Western scientists like Ben Franklin and Thomas Edison that electricity is a form of energy. So this nerve, the vagus nerve, which is biologically proven to connect to all of the chakra points in our body, really does carry energy. Only it isn't just electricity that travels through our nerves. It's a set of instructions for our body to follow. It tells our body what to do, how hard to work, what enzymes to make, carries the instructions that helps us continue to breathe when we aren't thinking. It helps us stay alive. It stands to reason that this energy is vital. And sadly, this is the point where most people choose to abandon the chakras. Someone says to them, chakra means wheel. The chakras are swirling wheels of energy inside the body. And they take it at face value. And they say, well, that's dumb. And they go on about their business. But as you'll find out later, this is a huge mistake. Not just because the swirling wheels of energy don't have to be literal to be effective and make an amazing visualization technique for use in meditation. We'll talk more about this in the next video. Not just because calling it the wheel could refer to the way electrical impulses travel to the organs through the vagus nerve and then back up the spine to the brain in a seemingly circular fashion. Not even because calling it the wheel might simply be a nod to the common Eastern belief of a repeating cycle of death and rebirth, but rather because the benefits of not taking this statement at face value are so intense and amazing that it will allow you to literally get whatever you want and live the life of your dreams. I think we shouldn't take this primitive text so literally, because when we do, we forget all of the context of history associated with them. We shut off our minds to the actual truth, and there is some truth here. Science is just now catching up to it. Take the emerging scientific field of bioelectronics. You've probably heard of a pacemaker before. If you haven't, the pacemaker is a small device that's placed inside the chest that helps control abnormal heart rhythms. How does it work? With short-timed bursts of very, very low-level electricity right in your heart. The pacemaker is an amazing invention, and it has saved a lot of lives. But as recently as 2015, scientists have been conducting experiments on what bioelectronic devices would do if they were attached in other places. The neck, the brain, the arms and legs, and of course the vagus nerve. And what did they find? What happens when you stimulate the vagus nerve with electricity? The body reacts instinctively, releasing a bunch of different enzymes that are directly related to improving your immune system response. Some of these enzymes inhibit, for example, tumor necrosis factor, which causes cellular death. Basically, if you stimulate the vagus nerve in the right way, it can reduce inflammation, trigger the body's natural healing system, and cure diseases. Guess what else science is just now discovering might be affected by vagus nerve stimulation? There's a lot, so I'll read them alphabetically. Please forgive me if I mispronounce any of these names too. I'm not a doctor, I just do my research. Here we go, the complete list of things I found in my research complete with actual scientific studies to back it up. Alcohol addiction, Alzheimer's, atrial fibrillation, asthma, anxiety disorders, autism, bulimia nervosa, burn, induced organ dysfunction, chronic heart failure, chronic intractable hiccups, colitis, comorbid personality disorders, coronary artery disease, diabetes, Dravet syndrome, drop attacks, epilepsy, fibromyalgia, heat stroke, heroin-seeking behavior, inflammatory bowel disease, intestinal epithelial barrier breakdown, Lennox-Gastaut syndrome, memory, migraines, mood disorders, multiple sclerosis, myocarditis, obesity, OCD, peripheral arterial occlusion disease, postoperative cognitive dysfunction, Rasmussen's encephalitis, rheumatoid arthritis, severe mental psychosis, sepsis, spinal trigeminal neuronal tinnitus, transient focal cerebral ischemia, trauma hemorrhagic shock, traumatic brain injury, treatment-resistant depression, vaginal cervical self-stimulation in women with complete spinal cord injury, visceral pain-related affective memory. That's quite a lot of interest in vagus nerve stimulation and some pretty powerful findings. I mean, giving back orgasms to women with complete spinal cord injuries. That's something even I never would have imagined. You can't make stuff like that up. A child is even affected by their mother's vagus nerve while in the womb. One study showed that infants had lower vagus activity if their mothers were depressed, angry or anxious during their pregnancy. Here's what I think, and you can feel free to disagree with me. The real reason that there are so many various benefits of vagus nerve stimulation is because the vagus nerve connects to practically everything. So, what's the point? And what does all this vagus nerve talk have to do with the chakras? Well, the vagus nerve connects to all the chakra points, obviously, but more than that. Do you know what else stimulates the vagus nerve? I'll give you a second to guess. If you guessed meditation, you win. By the way, if you guessed exercise, you're right too. But that's probably because we need the vagus nerve to kick in after a workout and help us relax and recover from the stress. The truth is, Western science is now finding dramatically new and invasive ways to accomplish things that people have already been doing for thousands of years by simply sitting down, relaxing, and focusing on their breath. Now, I don't want to take away from these amazing scientific discoveries. The people running these experiments will save countless lives because of their research. It's just that I'd rather not have to undergo surgery when I could sit quietly for a few minutes a day or take a jog around the block. And anyway you cut it, pun intended, meditation works. As I read through this next list, pay close attention. You'll notice that some of the benefits of meditation are conspicuously similar to the benefits of vagus nerve stimulation. Meditation makes you more empathetic and compassionate. Meditation improves your ability to make good decisions. Meditation slows down neurodegeneration. Meditation enhances your creativity. Meditation makes you learn faster. Meditation increases your attention span. Meditation makes you feel less lonely. Meditation helps you combat the cravings of addiction. Meditation gives you a higher pain threshold. Meditation helps with PTSD. Meditation improves your visuospatial memory. Meditation helps you become less distracted and more focused. Meditation makes you happier. Meditation improves your immune response. Meditation reduces anxiety. Meditation makes your sleep deeper and more restful. Meditation gives you clearer skin. Meditation improves your hearing. And on and on and on. Want even more evidence? The David Lynch Foundation is a charitable organization that started helping low-income schools implement what they call the Quiet Time program. In it, both teacher and students are given 2 15-minute periods of time every day to meditate. The results are well documented and staggering. A 10% improvement in test scores, a 21% increase in high school graduation rates, measurable improvements in creativity, happiness, focus, and self-confidence, improved teacher retention and reduced teacher burnout, reduced ADHD symptoms, and reduced symptoms of other learning disorders, an 86% reduction in suspensions, a 40% reduction in psychological distress, including stress, anxiety, and depression, and most impressive of all, a 65% decrease in violent conflict. That's incredible. Kids stop fighting with their teacher and with each other, starting paying attention in class, and got better grades, all while being happier and less stressed out, simply because they gave themselves a little bit of time to sit down, relax, and meditate. The David Lynch Foundation has also helped cut veterans' PTSD in half and helped abused women and girls cope with such things as substance abuse and insomnia. There are so many scientific studies and case studies on meditation with similar findings that it's as easy to find a study as it is to pick up a grain of sand on the beach. Unlike most other scientific studies that people take for granted as true, these studies have been repeated over and over and over again in a lot of different ways, and they all seem to agree we should all be meditating. But the real point of all this, the real question is this: what kind of effect do you think meditation could have on your life? This is a good place to wrap up, because the next thing we need to talk about is pretty big, and I don't want you tied to a computer all day. So let's just summarize what you've learned in this video. You learned that the vagus nerve is the main component of our body's parasympathetic nervous system and is connected to all of our 7 chakra points, either directly or via the brain itself. You learned that stimulating the vagus nerve has a host of amazing benefits, and it can actually cure diseases. You learned that meditation is a powerful, easy, non-invasive way that you can stimulate the vagus nerve. You noticed that the benefits of meditation and the benefits of vagus nerve stimulation by bioelectronic devices implanted in the human body are conspicuously similar. And so, putting 2 and 2 together, you now understand the point of this video fully. This is the scientific biological reason why meditation actually works, and it is so powerful.